So let's start with our breath, slowing things down and breathing. Making yourself comfortable. Let's get ready for a lovely practice of rest, relaxation, and restoration. So taking some deep breaths of maybe excitement for this time together, making the most of our experience today. Slowing down the chaos that tends to be our daily lives and tuning it out. So metaphorically closing that door to the outside world. Close the door, dim the lights, and welcome to your practice. See if you can create a rhythm with the breath, something steady and regular. And take your weight back ever so slightly. Notice those seat bones root down a little bit. You may even sense the space of the tailbone as we do this, and reach the crown of the head upwards. We'll stay like this for several more breaths. If you would like to set an intention for class, be my guest, maybe making a dedication or a prayer. Take a few more cleansing breaths, nice and full and refreshing. And just slowly wake ourselves up from that. We're going to take our right hand to the right shoulder and just draw big circles with your elbow. One way, and then the other way. And then we'll change hands, change shoulders. Left hand, big circles one way, and the other way. Maybe we're hearing some crickling and crackling of muscle tissue, and that's totally normal. Connective tissue making some noises, that's a-okay. Okay, we're going to incorporate doing that with both hands now. Try and touch your elbows and then lift them up and back. And we'll do that a few times. See if you can let the elbows touch. Maybe, maybe not. Either way, that's okay. Getting that full expression, full, beautiful rotation. Awesome. Release your hands down alongside the body, and then just open and close the fingers and rotate the wrists a few times like you're twirling a paintbrush. And we're going to take our left hand to the floor next to us and reach your right hand up and over. Your left hand is going to stabilize your right hip down. And try your best to straighten the arm and to lift the heart. That can be the challenging part. And then back to center. Right hand down, left arm extends, and our energy, the heart energy, is lifting upwards as best we can. The right hand grounds the left hip. And back to center. And we'll just shrug those shoulders as high as they'll go, and then see if you can lift the head higher than the shoulders. So we're really lengthening our spine. And then exhale, relax. We're going to take a twist to one way, opposite hand to opposite knee, gaze over that shoulder. And back to center. Other way. Left hand, or whichever side you didn't do, opposite hand to opposite knee, and gazing. And inhaling to center, beautiful. We're going to do head to knee pose now. So just extend one leg out, the other heel in, aiming that belly button over the leg. If you have your bolster or support, we can rest on something and maybe stay a little bit longer. So if we have supports, I'll grab my stool. And then this way we can stand a tad bit longer. The more comfortable you are, the better. And of course, doing our best to have a long spine, so it's not too much of a rounding. And all we need to do now is just simply breathe. Nice and steady. Maybe letting out a sigh every once in a while. We'll stay a little bit longer, enjoying whatever peace and quiet we've got going on, creating space for that. Three more gentle breaths. And we'll slowly come out of it. Nice and slow. Find that really tall spine once again. And we're going to take our right or whatever leg you have out. Just take that knee and just hug it up and in. Just give it a good little squeeze. Rotate the ankle, wiggle the toes. And then we'll change our legs. And do that on the other side. Maybe using some extra support and doing our best to keep our spine straight and lengthening over that leg, avoiding a big curve. And slowing things down as you tap into the breath. Let it go. Whatever stress you're holding on to, physically, mentally, spiritually, whatever tension you're holding on to, see if you can let it go. We'll stay for several more breaths. Make yourself comfy, make yourself at home. Build stability through the pelvic floor. Relax the jaw. Watch the breath flow. Okay, we'll take 3 more breaths. And we'll slowly lift ourselves up and out of that. We'll draw our left knee in, give it a good squeeze, and we'll rotate the foot both ways and wiggle the toes. Trying to get those cracks out. And we'll make our way onto our knees from here. So you'll definitely want a little bit of cushion. Find a nice tall spine. When you sit on your heels, sometimes you can line up the hip bones, the seat bones with the heel bones, which can be kind of fun to try and figure that out. And you may need to sit on something if this hurts the knees. We'll just rotate our head a little bit, very gently around, finding a really lifted heart space, creating a little bit of openness through the neck and shoulders, arms heavy. Very gentle in this process. And then we'll find a neutral chin. And take your hands behind you to interlace the fingers, and we'll just do our best to lift the hands up and also push them down a little bit. So we're really stretching the shoulders and the neck. If it feels good to you, you can take your chin to your chest. And exhale, release. It's time for a lovely child's pose. We can do knees together or knees nice and wide. And we'll just take a nice bow. It's the first time we really get to relax our head and our spine. So let's enjoy. You can rest your head on your arms if the floor feels far away today for whatever reason. And take a really nice big sigh out the mouth. We'll take 3 more breaths here. And we can do a down dog. If you want to opt out of down dog today, I totally understand. But if you want to get that awesome hamstring stretch, we'll take a down dog for a few breaths and then simply come back to child's pose. Just stretching out the back of the legs after that compression through the hip flexors and the knee joints. Just opening up a little bit. And then we'll take another yummy child's pose in your own time. Three more breaths. And then we're going to come to tabletop. Come on to tabletop, maybe walk the knees in a little bit, and we'll just drop the hips a little bit or shake them a little bit from side to side. Stretching out the hips, getting that nice pull. Maybe a few cat-cows are in order today. And when you're ready, we're going to take the left foot forward or whichever leg you want to do first, and we'll take a low lunge. So really big stretch through the front of the hip of your other leg, really sinking into the hips. You can come onto the fists, let the head be heavy. And a big exhale as we do this. We'll take 3 more breaths here. Okay, we'll tuck that knee back underneath us, coming back into a tabletop. All however you have to get there. We'll come back to tabletop and option for a down dog once again, or simply drop into a child's pose. But maybe we want another down dog in our practice today. And then child's pose, your favorite version, however that looks today. When you're ready, we'll come back to tabletop. Maybe wiggling the hips or taking a few cat-cows. And now it's time to take the right foot forward, or whichever foot you didn't do last time, and we'll sink into the other hip. Let this space of the hip get heavy towards the floor. You want to feel like that leg is sort of being dragged behind you, being dragged and pulled as your energy pulls you forward. I like to come onto my fists for strong arms. The head can be super relaxed and heavy here if you would like. We'll stay for 3 more breaths. And then we'll take that knee back underneath us for tabletop. And our last downward facing dog, if you're up for it, lifting those hips up and back, enjoying that amazing hamstring stretch, the shoulder opening. And whenever you're ready, coming back into child's pose. Taking your favorite version of the posture. And we'll stay for 5 more breaths, really enjoying this support from the floor. And we'll very slowly come up out of child's pose. We're going to make our way onto our back, and we'll use some support under our hips. So I'm just going to use my blanket and fold it a second time And make sure that that rounded edge is going to be going or facing my head. And we can just sit on something with support to make our way all the way down. It can be firm or soft, but we're basically coming into supported bridge. Oh yes, that feels lovely, the support from the floor. Notice how that holds up our chest and lungs, and maybe we can breathe a little easier now. Let's enjoy that firmness and the support, getting comfortable with our supports and our props, whatever we're using, making sure we feel safe and situated. Feet on the floor, knees up. You can have the hands on the floor alongside the body, or you can take your hands to your belly. We'll stay in supported bridge for a few more long and quiet breaths. Time to maybe experiment straightening one of your legs. Lengthen and extend one leg and feel a nice opening through the front of the hip. And then maybe we even want to take our arms up overhead. Getting some full opening through the body, full body stretching, expanding. And see if you can melt a little bit more. We'll stay for a few more breaths before we do the other leg. Okay, let's change legs. Extend the other leg out and place the other foot on the floor. We'll stay here for a few breaths. And then we'll see if doing both legs at the same time feels advantageous for us today. But we'll stay here for maybe several more breaths as we notice a difference perhaps on the other side of our body. Let the breath flow. And then we'll straighten both legs out. Give that a try. Maybe it works, maybe it doesn't. And if we're not liking it, just take your feet back to the floor, knees up. Depending on how high our support is beneath us will determine if this is too intense or not. Continue to let the breath flow in and out. And we can take our arms down if we've had our fill of that heart opener. And then we'll take our feet back to the floor, knees up. Pick your hips up one time to scoop them underneath you and set them back down. We can wiggle the shoulders further away from the hips. And we'll lengthen our spine for a few more breaths in this supported bridge posture. And we'll hug our knees into our chest. Hug your knees in, give them a squeeze. And then draw big circles with your knees on the ceiling, rotating those hips in their sockets. Make sure to go both directions. Trying not to fall off your support, of course. And then we'll very carefully lift up our hips to remove our support from underneath us. And we can come into Shavasana now. If you would like to take that support that was under our hips and take it under your head as a pillow, that's always a great idea. If there's any last minute poses or gestures you want to take and make, now's a great time to do it. Maybe we need to crack our fingers or our wrists, maybe letting out a big yawn. And we'll just take it down for a nice, long, and comfy Shavasana. Try and get the ankles and legs to really flop open. And see if you can get your palms to face upwards on the floor. That can be challenging. So be gentle with yourself. If it doesn't feel right, don't do it. Do what feels best in your body so you can really let go. So you can find that surrender, that support from the floor, noticing how firm and stable the floor is. Noticing how you don't need to do anything anymore. The muscles can relax, the tendons, the connective tissue. Let it go. Let go of effort and trying. All that's left to do is watch the breath and listen to your heart. Or maybe we can hear the wind outside. Simply listening and observing. Relax the soles of the feet and the palms of the hands. Relax your skin, the entire organ of your skin over the whole body. And letting it breathe freely. We'll stay a few moments longer. Enjoying the peace and quiet. Let the eye sockets get nice and heavy. The eyelids gently closed. And noticing movement, light, and color behind your mind's eye, behind the eyelids. Keeping a small level of awareness and alertness about this deep resting meditation. We'll begin to deepen our breath. Wiggle the fingers and the toes. And draw your head from side to side. And maybe even licking the lips, the teeth, and the gums. And we'll come to the sleeping position. This is our opportunity for a little self-love, a little hug. And slowly make your way to a seated posture. We'll find a tall spine once again, just to feel out our practice and the effects that it has on us, body, mind, and soul. Taking notice of improvements and benefits, and seeing if we can hold on to these things throughout our weekend. Maybe carrying this peace and tranquility with us. Bowing our heads in gratitude. Namaste.